Jesus said, know the truth, and the truth will set you free. By the way, students, I want to say this about my beloved wife, Cindy. We have been married for 3.5 years, and this girl hasn't disobeyed me once. Not once. You see, Cindy and I took the traditional wedding vows. I vowed to love, honor, and cherish her. She vowed to love, honor, and obey me.
Why?
Obey.
Why?
Why? Because she loves me. And the woman who loves her husband will obey her husband.
Don't you love her?
Yes,
Shouldn't
that's
you obey
why
her?
I provide for her. You see, the husband is to be the provider.
Who said that?
Who said? God said. Nature said. Reason confirms it. Women are the weaker vessel. They need the protection of a good, God-fearing man. Don't get me wrong, sir. I'm not trying to put women down. I just want to put them in their proper place, is all.
There's a need for 2 paychecks in the home.
Well, you need to marry a man who's got the ability, the initiative to support you. Sure, I can understand why you girls will have to go to work, because so many of the men on this campus, they lack initiative, they lack ambition. But I'll tell you something. Yes, often even then, if you have an ambitious man, especially when you first marry, that doesn't mean you're going to have 2 automobiles. It doesn't mean you can have, an apartment furnished with new furniture. It doesn't mean you girls can have a washer and a dryer, all the modern appliances, color TV, videos, a 2-week vacation to Hawaii or something like that. Yes, if you're going to have all those things, I suppose the wife is going to have to work. But you're supposed to save your money, and you ought to marry a man who has some sort of savings and security built up so you don't have to go to work. That he can support you. What are you going to do when you start having babies? That's why women were created, in order to be a housewife, to be a wife, and a mother. That's why God created woman, to be a helpmate for the man. God said unto the woman in Genesis 3:16, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, and thy desire shall be unto thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. God has ordained that the husband should rule over the wife. The New Testament puts it this way, wives, submit yourselves unto your husband as unto the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so wives be subject to their husbands in everything. Now, I should qualify what I'm teaching. The husband's authority is not absolute. It is in the context of God's law. In other words, the husband does not have the authority to be a tyrant, a despot, a dictator in his home. There is a higher law than the law of your husband, namely God's law. So if your husband should ever require you to do something unlawful or sinful, you don't have to obey him. If your husband will should ever conflict with the law of God, then you must obey God rather than man. Girls, that's why you need to give serious consideration as to who you marry, and not just marry him because he's got a nice personality, or because he's handsome, or because he's going to be a lawyer or a doctor. You've got to realize this is the man that's going to rule over you the rest of your life. You want a God-fearing man. So I can appreciate why a lot of you girls wouldn't want to submit to the boys around this campus, because let's face it, most of them are pansies, sissies. They're not real men. I can't blame you for not wanting to submit to one of these drunken fraternity boys. Or one of these drug-crazed hippies. Or one of these punk rockers. But girls, when you find a real man, someone like Sister Sydney found, for an example, I think you'll have a different attitude about submission. You may be wondering, well, just what is a real man? A lot of these boys are so insecure in their masculinity that they're trying to prove it by seeing how many of you girls they can shack up with. And they just want to put another notch on their belt. Most of the boys on this campus have no respect for women at all. I can hear them talking in the student centers, unions, often between times when I'm preaching, and they'll brag on what girl they scored with last night. They regard you just like a bowling pin, a score. That's all women mean to most men on this campus. You need to find a God-fearing man. A lot of boys on this campus are trying to prove their masculinity by seeing how many of you girls or seeing how many beers they can chug a lot. But a real man is one who's sober-minded, a clear thinker. He doesn't get drunk. He doesn't get stoned. A real man is one who's a virgin when he marries. A real man doesn't listen to this decadent, depraved, rock and roll music.
Act like you didn't want to do it. You do it. You do it.
What did you say? What did you say? Did I hear you say it? Did I?
Damn to hell.
Young woman, I'm not going to have sex with you. I know what that F word means. I know what it means.
What a favor!
I wasn't born yesterday just because I'm a minister. Don't think I'm that naive. I know what a temptation I must be to you. But try to control yourself. It's a hamster going up your ass. And in fact, students, I can see the lustful look in a lot of these girls' eyes. I'm telling you God's order for marriage. You need to find a real man. A real man is one who has self-control. A real man is one who won't abuse you, girls. You know, evidently, what we hear is true. Wife abuse is a big problem in our society today. And I'll tell you, in 9 out of 10 cases, the husband that beats his wife, you'll find they do it while they're under the influence of booze and or drugs. So girls, if you want to make sure you don't marry a wife beater, a wife abuser, you marry a sober man, one who doesn't take drugs or get drunk. If you marry a drunkard or a dope fiend and you get beat up by him, you get what you deserve. You'd be a complete fool to marry a drunkard or a dope fiend. You marry one who's not perverted, because a lot of these boys, if you don't do oral sex on them, they'll beat you up. They're perverted. They're twisted. You get a man who has respect for your body. I'll tell you, any boy who tries to have sex with a woman before marriage has no respect for her body, and he's a potential wife beater, wife abuser. If you marry a man who has respect for your body, respect for your virtue, girls, and has never tried to touch you in any way to stir up your passions, then you're safe. That man will not end up being a wife beater. He will not end up being a wife abuser. He will treat you tenderly and lovingly and kind. Matter of fact, girls, when you are choosing a potential husband, a man you might agree to marry, you need to get in a family situation with him. You need to meet his parents. Maybe spend a couple days, several days preferably, in the home of his parents. See how he treats his parents, especially his mother. Is he kind and considerate towards his mother? If so, he'll be kind and considerate towards you. But on the other hand, is he mean towards his mother? Does he show disrespect for her, just calling her his old lady? Does he talk back to his mother? Does he curse his mother? Well, if he does, you can be sure he'll abuse you. He'll be mean to you. He'll be unkind to you. These are just basic fundamentals that you need to consider. Girl, Boys, you need to consider you need to be in the home of her parents for several days. See how she treats her parents. Does she respect and honor her father? If she respects and honors her father, you can be sure she'll respect and honor you. Does she do things behind her father's back? Does she do things that she knows her father will disapprove of? Well, then you can be sure she'll do things behind your back, probably commit adultery on you. So these are basic things that you need to consider when choosing a potential wife or husband. Girls, when that boy proposes to you, you need to ask him, man, would you be willing to rule over me? Because a lot of the boys in our society today are such wimps. They refuse to take the responsibility that goes with their rule, their authority. And again, I can sympathize with a lot of you girls. I can't blame you for not wanting to submit to an irresponsible man. Because you see, with authority goes responsibility. The responsibility to be the provider, the breadwinner. But most men in our society today, especially college men, are irresponsible. They don't want to be the provider in the home. So I'm telling you how to have a happy marriage. And what your sociologists and psychologists are telling you about marriage, and they've had a greater influence over the last generation than the preachers have. And consequently, in the last generation, the divorce rate has soared. When Americans listen to the preachers, their ministers, instead of these perverted psychologists and sociologists, a few generations ago, it was very rare for a marriage to end up in divorce. Many of you have come from broken homes, no doubt. That's why you are so irresponsible in your lives and your character, because you have not had godly parents to set an example for you. Wake up, students. Awake unto righteousness today, and sin not, for you have not the knowledge of God, and I speak this to your shame. It is truly a horrible thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Now, students, do you have any questions about the role of a man, the role of a woman? Certainly this is a controversial subject, much discussed in contemporary society.